All right, well, first of all, thank y'all for being here today and appreciate y'all's interest in this project. My name is Leland Colvin, and I'm SCDOT's Deputy Secretary for Engineering. And the first thing I'd like to do is thank a lot of our project partners. A lot of them are represented here in the hall today, and we couldn't do this project without them, and we'll talk about some of the impacts of the project. But I certainly want to thank the town of Fort Mill, the city of Rock Hill, York County, Highway Patrol, all of our school districts, our local fire and EMS, Visit York County, the city of Tuckapee, and then York County Emergency Management. So those are a lot of partners, and it's going to take a lot of folks working together to kind of work through the impacts of this project that we're getting ready to talk about. But certainly want to thank them for being here today and thank them for all their efforts throughout the process. But this project, we're going to replace the southbound bridge deck on I-77 over the Catawba River. So this bridge was built in 1973. It is 48 years old. It was widened in 2000, and the bridge, both northbound and southbound, carries about 121,000 vehicles per day. So a very, very busy bridge with a lot going on. And the purpose of thus replacing the southbound bridge deck is due to the deterioration and the numerous repairs we've had to make over the years. And certainly when you've got a repair that you got to make in real time, there's not a whole lot of time we can prepare the public and for them to understand what those delays are. So we've made this decision to go out there, completely replace the bridge deck on the southbound lanes. We expect to get another 30 to 40 years out of this significant improvement to the bridge. So the substructure of the bridge is in great shape, have no issues. It's really just a deck and the riding surface itself. On the northbound direction, we have seen deterioration in that direction as well. And we expect we're going to have to address that sometime in the future, but it's not be part of this project here. We're very fortunate. United Infrastructure Group out of here, Chester County, a local bridge contractor, was awarded the project for $12.7 million. United has a tremendous amount of interstate bridge experience, and we're very comfortable with the contract that we have. So the project will start with the lane closures this Thursday at 9 p.m. and it'll go through May 24th at 5 a.m. So we're going to have 11 weekdays that we're going to be going through that rush hour traffic. Those hours are generally 6 to 9 in the morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning, and about 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the evenings. And then also we have a significant liquidated damages or disincentives associated with the project. We know how important this bridge is to the mobility across the state, but particularly here in the York County region. So we've got $10,000 per hour if the contractor's late, and we don't expect that whatsoever. So the contractor will be working 24 hours a day. He's got all his staff put up in a local hotel, and we'll be working 2 12-hour shifts, 7 to 7 each day. So I'm going to kind of use some of these maps here to kind of demonstrate exactly what we're doing. Kind of show you the process and then talk about some of the mitigation measures that we have in place. So this map here to get you oriented, of course Charlotte is off to your right, and then the Columbia's off to your left. And what we've got shown here in red are the ramps that will be closed as part of this project. So when you look at the Sutton Road on-ramp headed southbound, this ramp here will be closed for the duration, heading towards from Charlotte towards Columbia. Then if you start on the south end and head your way from Columbia back towards Charlotte, we'll have the on-ramp here at Cherry Road will be closed. The on-ramp, 2 on-ramps actually from Celanese Road will be closed. So again, the northbound on-ramps will be closed from Cherry Road and Celanese Road, and the southbound on-ramp from Sutton Road will be closed. The rest of the remaining ramps for these 3 interchanges will remain open. Certainly, Cherry Road, Sutton Road, and Celanese Road are going to be very, very congested, as you can anticipate. Then I'll kind of talk you through the traffic control as we move really from Charlotte, this time headed southbound. So Andy, if you'll kind of walk through these maps. All right, so let me get you oriented as well. To the right-hand side of the screen is Charlotte and the Sutton Road interchange. The lanes to the top are the southbound lanes, and we'll be shifting, necking down the 4 lanes in the southbound direction to 2 lanes. Same thing going northbound, and we'll actually move the 2 lanes that's headed southbound to the northbound side of the wall. So when you get those 2 lanes moved over, you'll have 2 lanes in each direction in the northbound direction. And this is the actual bridge here over the Catawba River. As you can see, we've already got the lanes shifted over. So we've got 2 lanes headed northbound, 2 lanes headed southbound, and then the entire southbound side of the bridge will be closed, and we'll do the complete deck replacement on that southbound side of the bridge. Then as you continue moving south, we'll shift the 2 lanes that were in the northbound direction, shift them over to the southbound side, and then we'll widen that back out, again, the 4 lanes. So 4 lanes down to 2 lanes in each direction, and then we'll shift those southbound lanes over to the northbound side. So a lot going on. So what have we done as far as mitigation? How do we mitigate the traffic? Because there is going to be significant traffic impacts. There is going to be congestion. There's no question whatsoever this is going to be a congested area, especially during those peak times that I talked about. Those morning and evening weekday peak times are going to be very, very congested. So we certainly are hoping that the public will take note of that, try to adjust their hours where they can, avoid this area if at all possible, try to avoid this area. But we have put several things in place. The first thing behind me here is our Regional Traffic Management Center. So we'll be monitoring traffic real time here out of the Regional Traffic Management Center with our district staff, and we'll be revising signal timings and monitoring that congestion in real time. Certainly we'll have the ability to communicate with our local law enforcement, state law enforcement folks, emergency management, when we see any type of incident that may happen. Also, we're going to extend our SHIP hours during the entire closure to cover both the AM and PM peaks. That's our motorist assistant program. So we'll be extending that, and that's housed here out of the Regional Traffic Management Center as well. Then also a big thanks to our I've already mentioned our local law enforcement and highway patrol. We'll have 5 law enforcement patrolling the area, the project during the duration. We also have a 24-hour standby record service that will be on site in case there is an incident on site, that we can clear that as quickly as possible in real time. Then we have certainly done a tremendous amount of coordination with our local school districts, fire departments, EMS, emergency responders, Carowinds, North Carolina. So a tremendous amount of coordination has occurred. I know I want to thank York County, Visit York County. They have done a lot of coordination and helping getting the word out to our local businesses, so thank them very, very much for that. So that really concludes what we're doing. Again, it will start Sunday night. We will be putting out media releases daily with real-time, progress that we're making on the project. And at this time, I'm glad to answer any questions that you may have. Yes, sir.
Why now? Why do this project now? Why not do it maybe a month ago? Because you guys are butting it real close up to the Memorial Day holiday. Why do this project right now?
So one of the things that we do when we have this type of bridge, this type of project is temperature dependent. So it's really the perfect weather window to get this done, trying to get it done before school gets out, before the summer season starts, but really getting beyond that winter so we don't have any issues with weather and the curing of the concrete.
My follow-up,
sure,
if I may, you said 120,000 people, drivers?
Yes, yeah, 121,000 vehicles a day.
How much time can people expect to be delayed through the routes as far as, and where do you expect them to go?
Yeah, so that's a great question. There's going to be heavy delays. There's no doubt about it. Depends on the time of the day. I think the AM and PM peak hours, those weekdays, are going to be the most congested. So really, when you look at the Catawba River, there's not a whole lot of alternatives. You got I-77, you've got Cherry Road. Then you may have to move up to the Lake Wiley area and go over the bridge up there, and then maybe back south near Bowater. So those are really the only relief valves. So we're just asking the traveling public to be patient. It's going to be congested for a short amount of time, but we're giving plenty of notice, and just ask for the motoring public to be patient. Yes, sir.
You guys have pretty set terms with the contractor and a pretty strict deadline. What happens if it does rain? How does that affect that contract and the dates?
Yeah, so great question on the way. And I talked about weather just a minute ago, and temperature is certainly very important when you look at curing in concrete. The good news is the rain, so the demolition of the bridge, it's really rain. The rain has not had that much impact versus, say, a paving project that we have. So when you look at bridge projects, certainly no rain would deter us from doing any of the demolition. And then we've got blankets, curing blankets we can put out there if there's a rain when we're curing the concrete.
So rain should have little to no effect.
That's right. Rain should really have little to no effect. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
You mentioned, law enforcement teaming up with you guys. As with any major work zone, is there any increased fines that drivers may expect if they do, break the law in this specific zone?
Yeah, so several years ago, the legislature passed a work zone law, and it was part of increased fines as part of that work zone. So that is done. That was completed here, passed 3 or 4 years ago by the legislature. So that will certainly be in place here.
Will the speed of traffic change?
The speed limit is expected to be reduced to 45 miles an hour. Had to get a cue on that one.
You said the other bridge, the other side's not looking great. If you had to guess, when do you think we're going to be going through this again?
Yeah, I don't know exactly when that will be, and we really, when you look at the southbound versus northbound, we really think that the traffic is pretty equally split. The one thing when you're coming off the Cherry Road and Celanese Road interchanges, you actually have 5 lanes going northbound. So it's something will be addressed. I just don't have a specific time frame right now when we'd have to address the northbound lanes.
You mentioned the real-time traffic monitoring, and did you say that you guys are also monitoring like traffic lights?
Yeah, so in our regional traffic center here, management center here, we'll be monitoring the traffic, and we can actually make traffic signal timing adjustments here out of the center. So we've got that remote to the signals along Celanese, Sutton, and Cherry Road, can make those adjustments in real time here as we see needed.
Can you kind of explain how that will help kind of give more people who are coming down those local roads the ability to get through those areas faster?
So it's certainly when you have a project like this, or really when you have any project, and you've got those main thoroughfares, the key to moving traffic is trying to keep the cars on those thoroughfares open as long as possible. So if you got 1 or 2 people at a side street, you really want to treat the main street, give them much more green time to continue that the motoring public to make their commute wherever they're going.
Are you guys doing any similar projects to this in the past, and how did they go?
Yeah, we've had very similar projects for various reasons. Probably the one that's similar to this is for a different reason, but a very similar, the Wando Bridge, I-526 in the Charleston area. A different reason for why we closed the bridge, but very, very similar, where we had to shift all the traffic over to one side of the bridge and complete those crossovers themselves. So that's the one we did about 3 years ago.
And what about any resources that people who are having to drive across the bridge, or even just around those local roads you're pushing them to, how can they make sure that they're seeing what you're seeing essentially? So
we've got our 511 system. We'd certainly encourage everybody to go to our 511. It gives you all kind of traffic alerts. It gives you real-time traffic data. And as important as anything else, it gives you a view of all of our traffic cameras. So what you see behind us here is our traffic cameras. So it really gives that motorist or that individual a chance to look and see in real time what's going on. We'll have other variable message signs posted throughout the project, but I would certainly encourage everyone to use 511.
You told us the significant fines that you have in place for the contractor if they don't get this done in time. How important is it they finish this project off before that Memorial Day week, which follows in 7 days?
It is very, very important. United's been in business for a long time. They're certainly an A++ contractor for us, and they are very familiar with what we're trying to do here. Very familiar with interstate bridges, and very, very familiar with working in an urban environment. So we've got a lot of faith in United contractors.
Well, I know that they've shut down river access points in the area. Will there be fines for people on the river, whether kayaks or tubes?
I don't know the answer to that question. I think that is a local decision made. That we certainly encourage that and trying to get that real time, trying to get this project completed as quickly as possible. But I don't know the specific answer to that question.
Oftentimes contractors will under-promise and over-deliver. Is there buffer built in at all?
There's no buffer. No, I mean, they are set. You can see they've already pre-positioned their equipment throughout here. Everybody on this project has already been vaccinated. That's one of the things the contractor planned ahead of time. So everybody working on this contract, from the contractor standpoint, has already been vaccinated to avoid any type of COVID issues that we may have. So contractors taking a lot of steps to ensure the success of this project.
Explain how the lane closures the past few weeks have helped with the build-up to this project, because weren't they doing some some smaller work?
They're doing some smaller work, but it's really getting us prepared to do the major work here. It's just getting equipment and getting things in place so that we can start hit the ground running at 9 o'clock on Thursday night.
You mentioned partnering with Carowinds in North Carolina, that sort of thing. For folks who maybe use the interstate but don't typically use this part of the interstate, is there any kind of model or anything distance-wise to show how far you might expect traffic to get backed up in either direction?
Yeah, so again, that 511 system on our website is probably the best source of information that we want you to use. That we'll have message boards out on the interstate that will be showing some times on that as well, but certainly the 511 system is going to be your best resource. All right.
Sir, could you spell your name and repeat the position for me?
Yes, my name is Leland Colvin, Leland. My last name's Colvin, Colvin, and I'm the Deputy Secretary for Engineering.
Thank you.
Will y'all be emailing these maps out?
Yes, we can email these maps. We've got these maps electronically and glad to meet those out.
We emailed them out to one person.
Impacts of this project that we're getting ready to talk about, but certainly want to thank them for being here today and thank them for all their efforts throughout the process. But this project, we're going to replace the southbound